Testing, testing, testing. All right, we're on page 85. And we're going to be looking at a way to declare and create an object by the name of account with a constructor to custom initialize at the time of instantiation or creation. Now, this is the account.h file. Remember, this is the definition of the object account in current memory, and this object definition is describing the data members and the member functions, the behaviors, the actions, the tasks of this class object by the name of account. We're including the string class definition for account, open, close brace. Remember, for header files, you must end with the semicolon, and also namespace directive is not to be used within the header definition file. So we'll have to type our standard : within the code as required. So account class beginning and end definition, we have a public area where we have the constructor that allows for the initialization of a data member by the name of name at the time of instantiation or at the time of creation. Explicit, we use that explicit keyword ahead of the account open paren. The name of this class, open paren, is your constructor format. Explicit, we use explicitly when we have only one data item to define. The syntax of the constructor is account open. We're going to be passed a string from the main driver program. So we'll be passed a name. It'll be assigned to account name in the header file. And within the body of the constructor, we have a colon, and the name references the private data member by the name of name. So this account name field will be assigned account name as an initializer. So we have the open and close brace. And that the member initializes with an empty body, and there's no further definitions or statements within the constructor in this example. So explicit account open paren standard string. We're expecting a string data to be passed to account.name from the driver program. And then we can define and initialize and assign the private data member name field with the passed value of account name. And there's no statements or no additional action within the constructor. And the rest is highlighted as the same as what we've studied in the previous example. So as long as you have a single parameter in your constructor, use the explicit keyword. You should point that out. And then our corresponding driver program is account test, the name of our object, and we're testing it, account test.cpp, with our source code. We will need to include in our source code our personal account.h, where we are writing the source code for the account.h header file. Remember, we use quotation marks around the pound sign include our personal source code. It's not an already known library function where we pound sign include with the less than greater than symbolization. We are working with source code now, so we will abbreviate our code using namespace standard. And then in the main, open and close braces, the body of the main is, we're going to create two account objects. We have a data type of account. It is a class object by the name of account, defined with account.header. And we're going to declare an account variable name of account 1 and initialize it with the open close braces to the string, quote, quote, Jane space Green, end with a semicolon. And we're calling the account constructor that allows us to create and initialize on the second account object class by the data type of account with the variable name of account 2, and we're initializing by sending a string John Blue to the constructor within the header, and it will initialize the data member name field. As we continue with main, we are outputting to the output screen, account 1 name is space, and then get account 1, so we're asking for the object in current memory of type account referenced by account 1 dot get name, and get name will be called from the header file and return the current name holder's name and print it to the screen. And we're going to next account 2 name is space and print to the screen. And we're referencing account 2 class object of type account member function get name, and get name will return to the calling environment the string, which is the current data member name assignment in the class object account 2. Remember that our class objects then, we've declared with a constructor account 1, and it has a name field. We've set the name with a past Jane Green string assignment collected at the time of creation with the constructor. And we have account 2, where at the time of instantiation, this class object of type account is referencing, and we passed a name, Joe Blue, I believe. And now account 2 is maintaining that variable name in current memory for us of what could be many account instantiated objects in current memory. Let's see what happens. Visual Studio. The new project. Project name will be figure 03 underscore 04 through 05. And I want that location to be chapter 3. All right, I've inherited the minimum code. I'm going to delete that because I have the shared code from the author, and I'm going to my shared folder, and I'm going to get the CTP file. Open that up. And Notepad copy all and paste back to. Be sure if you're working on a program project that you include your beginning documentation. Okay, so I have CTP and I'm looking at it right now. Now in my driver program, I need to include the account.h header file. So in the header files, this is my own header file, so I'm going to add a new item, and it's going to be a header file. I want it to be placed in this current location, so that's correct, and add. It too produces minimum code, but I want to go out to the author shared code for account.h and open that with Notepad or Notepad Plus, copy all, and paste. So my header file now has a name of header file. I'll want to make sure that I rename that to account. It has to be the name of the class object that we're declaring. Account has to be spelled correctly. Account.h. So I'm including account.h, and it is in my header files Explorer folder with the correct name. I want to make sure I set my project properties for the pre-compiled header to not using. And then let's save all and try compiling. Control F5. And on my command screen, I see account name 1. Account 1 name is Jane Green, and account 2 name is John Blue. I guess I said Joe Blue, it's John Blue. Press. And the user didn't type anything at the keyboard this time to make those assignments. Let's see what's happening. We are in main declaring an account class object with a variable name of ACC account 1, and we're using our open and close braces to initialize the string Jane Green. And account 1 Jane Green is calling and initializing with the constructor in account.h. So when I explicitly, I'm declaring and assigning only one parameter. So we use explicit account. It's expecting a string, account name, and it receives the string from the initialization, instantiation of this account 1, Jane Green. And so the name data member field of type string is going to be assigned the account name, which is passed to the header as Jane Green. We continue then. We have another class object, account 2 of data type account, and we're going to call the constructor and pass John Blue as a string within the instantiation or initialization of the account. So we're declaring a second account class object referenced by account 2, and we're passing a parameter on creation to account constructor that initializes. There's explicit is used as a keyword because there's only one parameter. We use our standard : in headers, string type, account name. So the constructor is expecting a string to be passed, and we are passing a string, John Blue. So account name is assigned John Blue, and then we're going to initialize the data member, which is of type string, by the name of name to the value of account name, which is John Blue. So account 2 dot name is equal to John Blue. Let's see what happens. Sure enough, account name 1 is Jane Green, account name 2 is John Blue, and they were assigned with the use of a customized constructor at the time of instantiation. All right, we'll close this solution and exit. And there'll be a continuing chapter 3 recording. So thank you.